Hi, I'm Wood Chip Liz, and I turn scraps and junk into cool things. Today, I have a really nice window. Too bad we're gonna smash it. For this window, I got the idea from going shopping with a friend of mine. She's just moved into a new house and doesn't really have any art for her walls. And we saw an old window, or what's supposed to be an old window, that had the glass removed and a chicken wire put in place with some clips to hold pictures. So that's what we're going to do here. To remove the glass, I got an old box, cut it open, and then put the glass piece on top. And then very carefully, smashed it. I very quickly decided that the best option for this was to put a piece of cloth on top of it so that none of the debris would fly up at me and it would all go into the box where it was supposed to be. Ta-da! When dealing with glass, you want to be very careful. So the very next step I did was to vacuum up everything. The entire table, floor, all around me. Anywhere a shard could have flown off to. Now, because this is a real old window, and not one of those fake ones you get at the decorating store for $60, it has the putty in it, it has the clips in it to hold the glass, and it still had a little bit of glass stuck in with the putty. So if you're going to do this at home, just be aware of that and be careful. By smashing out the glass first, it loosened the putty at the back, so I was able to get most of it out, just kind of prying off the little pins and then kind of using my knife to pry the rest of it away from the wood. Now, I'm not paranoid, but I am paranoid. So, more vacuuming. At this point now I had all of the glass out and it was just cleaning up the last little bit of putty. So I grabbed a chisel and just kind of cleaned up the edges just a little. Now I just did a little bit of cleanup. Some sanding just to get rid of the high edge paint and then some scrubbing to try and get the dirt off of it. Now, at this point, you could go in so many directions. You could add a piece of chalkboard, you could add some pegboard, you could put a backing onto it and permanently mount a picture. You could do what I'm doing and have interchangeable pictures or notes. As I said, the one that we found had chicken wire in it with clips mounted so that you could change your pictures as much as you wanted. So that's what we went with. But I did jazz it up a little. A sharper pair of snips here would have made this a lot easier, but it did work out reasonably okay. I started off by placing the mesh over top of the window and really just kind of cut around to match the shape. I did 3 windows square and then the other 3 windows at a 45-degree angle, just to try and give it a little more interest. As you can see, the 45-degree angle took a lot longer. There was twice as many wires to cut. And there we have it. Now, all the mesh is just kind of friction fit in place. So the next step was to go and find some wood and cut some little pieces to kind of tack in place, make sure it didn't move. I went over to the wood pile, found some scrap, and then on the table saw, ripped it down to basically 1/4 by 1/4. It didn't have to be very thick because it wasn't holding up a lot of weight, but it did have to be small enough that it fit basically where that putty had been removed, which was just over 1/4 by 1/4. Back to the window. Since these pieces were now really fragile, it wasn't going to be safe to cut them on any of the big power tools, so I got out my little handsaw and started at it. One of my old woodshop teachers taught me, never measure something if you can mark it directly on the piece. Your cuts will end up being a lot more accurate that way. Last part with this was just tacking everything in place with some staples. It's looking good so far. Next step was to add a clip so that we could hang this thing on the wall. And if you're ever wondering how to put these things on without smashing your fingers, grab the little nail with a pair of needle nose pliers. It'll allow you to hold it in place without having your fingers anywhere near this stupid little thing. Then some fancy paper clips. To hold the pictures or the papers or whatever she decides to clip to this thing to the picture, I use these paper clips. Now, I went with the extra mini ones, but the colors that I had just didn't really show up very well, and I think if I went to do this again, I'd get at least the small, if not the medium. To attach them to the chicken wire, I took a small piece of wire, wrapped it around one side, pinching it nice and tight. See? And then loop the end back into the handle of the paper clip to create the same thing on the other side. Ta-da! And then pull them really tight. This meant that there would be no real side-to-side movement, and it would still have enough give to mount the pictures, but not enough that it was going to just be falling off all the time. There we go. Then we just bend the two ends back so we can push it through the wire. Finding the center, and then just twisting it in place. I used a needle nose plier set to tighten it down, make sure that it really didn't move, and then just clipped off the ends. It stays. Check out some more wood chip list videos here and get some great ideas for cheap material and cool projects. You don't need to spend a fortune, you just need to look at things a little differently. And remember to like and share and subscribe so you never miss a secret. See you next time.